Thank you, and good afternoon. My name is Alexander Wesley. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Arovia Inc.
My name is Justin Mincer. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Arovia Inc.
At Arovia, we make Spud, the spontaneous pop-up display. Spud is the world's first high-resolution 24-inch computer screen that collapses down just like a small umbrella to the size of a small umbrella and weighs less than a pound. So you're never going to be stuck working on a small laptop or cell phone screen ever again. Behind me is a video of our rough proof of concept, and it's right here as well, in action connected to a laptop. Let's take a look. So you can see, just like an umbrella, bam, and easily fits in the bag. So Spud has 4 hours of battery life, and you can connect it to your phone, tablet, or laptop, both with a wired HDMI or wireless connection. But even cooler than this second screen use case, Spud can completely replace your laptop if you have a portable keyboard and mouse, and then we just integrate an operating system and CPU within Spud. Here's that in action. So even cooler than this is the consumer-ready version of Spud that goes beyond our rough proof of concept that we have right here, that we're going to begin selling in February of 2017 at a $300 price point. You can see that it's sleek, sexy, and consumers will be clamoring for it.
Now, there are 3 types of customers that we think would very much benefit from using the Spud. First, we have the mobile professional. Now, this is anybody that travels around a lot for work. So somebody like freelancers, product managers, management consultants, somebody like Mike here. So Mike's an auditor. He spends most of his time away from his desk when he's at work, and he tries to get his work done on his small laptop screen. But a lot of the times he gets frustrated with that small screen, and he ends up pushing that work back to the end of the day until he can get back to his office. Or worst case, take it home with him. At least at home he has a couple of monitors where he can spread his work out, and he can actually get some things done. Now imagine how much easier his day would be if Mike had a Spud with him. He could keep his productivity up throughout the entire day, actually get his work done at work, and when he gets home, spend time with his family instead of with his computer. Now Mike's a real person. We actually met Mike at Ernst & Young. We're doing a pilot program with them. And the pilot program is going very well. I think one of the things I was most excited about was the fact that we got to meet Mike and people like Mike and really understand how the mobile professional works and does their job. And even better, Mike really, really loved our prototype. So that was great to hear. Now the next type of customer is the government or industrial customer. Now this is a person that's out in the field a lot. So field engineering, military folks, any kind of disaster relief teams, for example. This is Glenn. Glenn's in the military, and a lot of times he finds himself in a situation where he has to present some sort of time-critical information to his team out in the field, and he has to do so in a very clear way. Now, it's hard enough to try to present information on a small screen to a person just next to you when we're talking about complex logistics in the military. It's almost impossible to do that with a large team out in the field. Now imagine how much easier this becomes if Glenn had a Spud to use. He could much more clearly illustrate his point on that large 24-inch screen and make sure that everyone on his team knows what they're doing. He could also potentially get rid of his laptop altogether and just connect Spud directly up to his smartphone, have a very, very portable solution when he doesn't need it, pop it up into 24 inches only when he does need it. Last customer case, we have the end consumer. Now these are the folks that are going to tell you Spud is not just for work. Spud is also for play. Spud is also for relaxation. You can imagine playing video games on the go, watching movies in the car, watching movies while camping, and of course, tailgating. Take a look at these sports fans behind me, probably Louisville fans. They're going to tell you that they want the best of both worlds. They want to have the latest in technology to be able to stream the game in real time wherever they are in the parking lot, but they also need it to be portable because they need to save their trunk space for that food and for that booze, clearly, for this is a tailgate. Now, imagine how easy this becomes when they have that Spud. They just park their car, pop it open, connect it to their phone, and they're already streaming the game. They don't even have to worry about an external power source because this all runs on battery power. It's just going to work for them. Now, we spent a lot of time really kind of digging into the potential customers and have really focused on these three areas because we really believe that there is a need for our product in these three market spaces.
So as Justin delineated, we have three distinct multi-billion-dollar markets, the first of which are the mobile professionals like Mike. There's about 10 million of them, and at a $300 price point, that's a $3 billion market. Next is the government and industry. They currently spend about $11 billion on mobile displays. And finally, consumers, which currently spend about $65 billion on mobile displays. Our initial target market is the mobile professional and the consumer because we can reach them with the technology we have now and channels we have access to in our go-to-market. But going forward, we plan to also address the industry and military. However, based on our customer interviews, they have high-end military end requirements, shock and vibrate requirements, which means we have to have a distinct version of SPUD that's different from the mobile professional and consumer version of SPUD. We have a provisional patent on the technology, and all the IP is owned by us. We're not licensing it from a university or anything like that. And we're also not subject to any onerous EPA, FDA, or FAA requirements, for example. We've also completed a startup accelerator where we did over 200 customer interviews to validate our product market fit across all three of our core markets, and we learned a lot from that, including the price point and our go-to-market strategy. We also received our first press while doing that startup accelerator. As Justin mentioned, we recently started a pilot testing program with EY. They requested that from us because they heard about us and they're really dissatisfied with their current solution. And to give you the order of magnitude, they buy about 100,000 of the competing product a year, which they spend about 10 to 15 million on. So B2B customers like Ernst & Young represent huge market opportunity for Arovia and for SPUD. We've also been very fortunate to have industrial designers, world-class industrial designers from the University of Houston's world-famous Industrial Design School join our team. And finally, we recently received funding from the National Science Foundation, which is a grant funding to further our development of SPUD.
So why do you need SPUD? Why does Ernst & Young need SPUD? Well, first, there's productivity. Large screens have been proven to actually increase productivity up to 50%. This is because you're not switching between applications, you're not scrolling up and down as much, and that's a really big number. For an individual, that means you're getting more of your work done faster. You can actually get home to your daughter's softball game in time. For a company, that means your employees are actually getting their work done. They're being more productive with their time, and that's impacting your bottom line very positively. Now, it's not just about productivity. It's also about portability here. Portability is actually key because that's really what allows you to take all those benefits that you get with that large screen and take it with you wherever you need it. Now, the next question is, what's available out there today for customers? Can customers buy anything that'll give them that functionality? And the answer is not really. So we've done our homework. We've looked at a lot of these other types of products, and the closest thing that's out there today is the USB monitor. If you're not familiar with that, that's kind of like a standalone laptop screen. You set it up next to your laptop, plug in your USB, and now you have two laptop screens to work from. Now, there's a couple of inherent problems with this, the biggest one being you're still working from a laptop-sized screen. If you were to take that screen and hold it up against the SPUD screen, it would take up about a quarter of the overall 24-inch SPUD screen. So that's a really big difference. These are clearly different products. Now, if you've ever dropped your cell phone and cracked a screen, you'll understand why a lot of consumers are very hesitant to get another piece of technology like a USB monitor that has that glass screen that could potentially be dropped and broken during travel. Bottom line is this. There are no other products today out on the market that can really satisfy the needs of the customers that we're talking about here. SPUD can, because SPUD's the only product with that 24-inch screen that has been designed for portability.
Our team has extensive and relevant optical engineering, mechanical engineering, industrial design, sales, and marketing experience. I have my bachelor's and master's in optical engineering, and prior to going back to school for my MBA, I led the product rollout for a novel optical engineering product similar to SPUD. Our lead industrial designer has over 30 years of experience, and prior to working for us, he led Austin's most prolific industrial design firm. We're also very fortunate to have a great team of advisors that has amazing and extensive engineering, entrepreneurship, and legal experience. They include Gene France, who was formerly the lead technical employee at Texas Instruments. If you look him up, there's a law called Gene's Law that is named after him. So our go-to-market begins with a Kickstarter campaign in March of this year. We've extensively studied what it takes to make a successful campaign, and we have already begun executing on that. The first component is a compelling video. Now, with that, we already shot it, and it's in post-production. Next, we need to have a community of early adopters that are ready to buy on day one. And that's been the core of our activity right now. So we're doing both face-to-face and internet-based marketing approach. Face-to-face, our team, for example, was at a startup fair. We're meeting customers where they are right now. And we're doing the same thing on the internet. We're doing obvious things like we're going on social networking sites like LinkedIn, Pinterest, Facebook, but we're going beyond that. We really understand niche places where our customers are online, for example, like Flyer Talk. And Justin's right now implementing analytics that we're actively monitoring to know where we have the highest conversion rate. And finally, we need compelling incentives. For example, on the third video you saw, we use Spud as a laptop replacement. So when we reach our goal of selling over $100,000 in pre-sales, we're going to unlock a version of Spud for our customers that has a Raspberry Pi integrated with it. So we're well on our way to achieving our goal of having a successful Kickstarter that sells over $100,000, and we're very excited about that. Now, our pre-sale B2B is focused on continuing to pilot test with customers like Ernst & Young, and we'll have an LOI in place from a large customer like them by December of this year. We're also exploring partnerships. We're waiting until we have our industrial design and our provisional patent is converted into a non-provisional patent, but we think there's opportunity at places like Dell, Samsung, and Brookstone, for example. Now, following in our post-launch marketing, we're going to build upon what we learned in our pre-sale and our pre-launch marketing. In B2C, we're going to initially sell Spud at Amazon and the Arovia website, but we're also going to hit retailers, and maybe even earlier than we expected because Micro Center recently reached out to us. I don't know how they heard about us, but we might be able to get into retailers even faster, and we're meeting with their lead buyer next week. We're also planning on going to Best Buy and Brookstone. B2B, we're going to build off with what we're doing with customers like Ernst & Young, and we're going to have a direct sales force that targets customers that have over 1,000 users within them. And pretty much any modern company now has a mobile workforce that would benefit from a large computer screen, even UPS here in Louisville. And we've talked to ExxonMobil and Fluor as well. Now, Spud, like any technology product, has both technology and market risk, but it's imperative that we understand them, and we do, so we can mitigate them. The main technology risk, as you can see right here, is the display thickness. Right now it's about 14 inches, and the consumer-ready version that we showed you on slide 4, we're reducing that to 10 inches, are about the same thickness of a laptop, and also the display quality, because it's imperative that it matches the same quality as an LCD screen, which we've also developed solutions for that are being implemented in the version that we're selling in February of 2017. The primary market risk is that $300 price point. We validated that with our over 200 customer interviews, and over 90% of the customers in our target market said they're willing to pay between $300 and $500 for Spud. The next risk is competition risk. Spud is entering the highly competitive consumer electronics marketplace, but the upside to that is that Arovia will likely be the subject of acquisition as well. Our burn rate over the next year is anticipated to be $1 million, the vast majority of which is going to product development. Our financials show us achieving, in fiscal year 2017, about 1% of the USB monitor market, which we think is very achievable. Our COGS are based off volume supplier quotes. As you see, we actually built something here, and we know what's in it, and we know how to make it work. What you also see is that our gross margin increases over time due to volume discounts. We also, in our financials, have baked in a price drop as well. By the time we reach fiscal year 2020, we're anticipating selling $97 million of Spuds. And we're quickly moving to market. In March, we're going to have that Kickstarter campaign. I hope you go to arovia.io and sign up. We're also converting our provisional patent into a full patent. In July, we will conclude our initial round of funding. In February 2017, we will ship the first version of Spud with both B2B and B2C sales channels intact. In December of 2017, we'll ship Spud version 2 with our first government account procured. In December of 2018, we'll ship a huge 50-inch version of Spud, so those tailgaters can really go big on the go, and other consumers like them. And by the time December 2021 rolls around, no matter what coffee shop you go to, you'll see a Spud. We're really excited by the future of Arovia and Spud.
At Arovia, we give you the freedom to go big wherever and whenever you want. We're very excited about the future of our company, and we'd love it if you join us on this journey. Please go to arovia.io today and sign up, and we'll enter you into a contest to win your very own Spud on release day. So remember to sign up today, and thank you very much.
Judges, 15 minutes of Q&A, starting with VG.
All right,
right, my first question is on market validation. So you've talked to, 150 to 200 customers, and they have indicated that in all these 3 different segments, which is mobile professionals, government, and consumer, that they are interested in this product.
Right.
And what is their feedback on user experience?
So, for example, with Ernst & Young, the main feedback that we get from customers like them is the display thickness and then the quality. And they see the value there. They're ready to use it pretty much in its current state, but that's what we're hoping to improve as we go forward to the version we're shipping in February 2017. So they understand the value proposition that with their current USB monitors that they're buying 100,000 a year with, that's much smaller than our product. And it also has issues where, that's why the partner approached us initially, is because they have major issues with the USB monitors breaking at about a 2-year cadence. So I don't know if that answers your question, but it's backed up by data that both on customer discovery and customer validation that this product has product market fit.
Okay, now on your, the initial or the target market, you're talking about a $3 billion market for the mobile professionals. Your marketing spend is $100,000, and you're talking about like a pre-sales campaign of face-to-face. So you're expecting, what's the market penetration you're expecting to get out of the $100,000 sales?
Can you go to
or the campaign, marketing campaign?
Which one?
the demand creation?
Is that at the end? Yeah.
Yeah, appendix 3. So this is for year 1 to get a 10,000 convert rate. It's based both on the internet-based and face-to-face marketing. So we go in details of both our unpaid, which is kind of like what I was talking about in the presentation, places like Flyer Talk, Reddit we're getting. So Justin maintains a master spreadsheet that has all our analytics and the conversion rate at each website. So that's that. With paid, Facebook ads and Google ads are what people see the most success with, and that's what we've been testing. And then we think with our face-to-face, it's about, because it's a new product and you have to see how it works, it's about getting out and meeting customers where they are at various conferences, hotels, airport lounges, and so we're allocating demo units for that.
Right, so you're spending $100,000. So what kind of revenue are you expecting to
So we're expecting that to be 10,000 customers.
Okay, at $300.
Right.
That's $30,000. Or what's the math there?
I think we were getting a 3 million.
3 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, beyond that, but yeah.
You good?
All right, go ahead.
All right. By the way, great job on the personas. It's really hard to communicate a new product idea to people, and the personas are a great way to do that. My questions focus around the market, competitive. Have you thought about where this fits with like Pico projectors and that type of thing, the small projection devices? Is that competitive at all?
Well, it's actually supplemental. So this is based off off-the-shelf Pico projector, but we're going custom as we go to market. So when we talk about strategic partnerships with companies like Brookstone, we can sell an adapter that plugs in, and so the customer can mitigate a lot of the disadvantages with Pico projectors, like needing a room or needing proper lighting conditions, and having to operate over a very long distance. So I see it as supplemental with a Pico projector, and a lot of the same early adopters that would buy a Pico projector are also valid target customers for us.
Yep.
One of the problems,
go ahead.
One of the problems with those Pico projectors that you don't really think about too much is you need a wall, and you don't always have that wall. So I mean, I think we're kind of expanding upon that idea and saying, okay, this is a better solution where you don't have to worry about that
Yep.
kind of.
And are these HD? Are they true high definition when
Yeah.
you look at it?
Yeah.
And where does 4K fit in? Let's say. I mean, I know at CES they were showing 8K TVs already. It's like I don't know when it stops, but are you prepared for future advancements in that technology?
Yeah. So I mean, we do have future product growth, which is why on our milestones you already see SPUD 2 and SPUD 50. This is not 4K, it's 1080p, but it's something that gives us room to grow. Customers didn't mention needing 4K in our interviews. They mentioned clarity and being able to see in their spreadsheets and things of that ilk, and being able to properly compare in their PowerPoints. And then for the tailgaters, then you're already broadcast at 720p, so.
But I mean, it does have a relatively modular design. So as that technology increases, as those Pico projectors get to 4K, we'd be able to upgrade as well.
Yep, perfect. Go right ahead, Kim.
Just wanted to talk about, if you could go to the slide where you showed all the potential channel partners.
This one. Or
No, the
you
next
want
this
in
one.
the
This one.
this
So,
one?
so Brookstone's not going to pay you $2.99 for this because they're going to sell it at $2.99.
Oh, right,
So-
right. Yeah, so if we do something where we integrate with Brookstone, that go-to-market I view as more of a partnership where it'd be licensing, and we would sell a cage at $50, and they would pop in one of those Pico projectors
see.
that are at the front of their store.
Okay.
And then-
Yeah,
so-
well,
so it'd be an
when,
upsell.
when you go to the channel needs to make money too.
Yeah, so we're just
So-
exploring that right now. We're waiting until the industrial design's complete and our patent's converted into
Okay,
a
so
full
let's talk about the patent because I've done this way too much. When you take your provisional filing and you make it a real patent filing, then you're going to be patent pending. And that process in my company has taken about 5 or 6 years for the patent to actually be granted. Now, everybody gets fooled because Apple gets their patents approved in about 6 months. Well, Apple pays the US Patent Office for 150 patent examiners who only work on Apple's patents. They're not going to work on your patent. So in between your patent pending until it's effective, you can't sue anybody. You can't stop anybody from infringing. So how do you protect yourself?
Well, I think there's an expediting process where you can get beyond the 5 or 6 years and get it done in a year.
Absolutely, and that costs money.
Right.
Is that
It's something we'll have to consider.
okay? All right, go ahead.
So I want to understand a little bit. I want to understand a bit more about the technology. So you showed us a Pico projector over there,
Yeah.
and in order for this to be bright enough, it's going to consume quite a bit of energy. And you talked about batteries. What's the battery life in your tests, and how often would that E&Y professional have to keep changing batteries? And
Yeah, so the battery life is about 4 hours that we're designing to right now. And so the average power consumption is about 10 watts.
so after 4 hours, they're going to have to put new batteries in the system?
No, you would just like your smartphone or your laptop, you would charge it after that. So that's right now for our Gen 1, what we see as the right balance between battery life and usability.
So how much has the E&Y person really used this?
So they've used it on a few. It's been mostly focus group testing right now, but the guy reached out to me yesterday. They're right now in the busy season, as you know, but they're ready to roll. Does that answer your
So
question?
real fundamental question. You say the whole reason we want to get these large screens is to enhance our productivity by 50%.
Right.
I'm really struggling to buy into that. It doesn't make sense to me.
Have you ever used a larger computer screen?
Of course. So I used to use iPads all the time, and now I use this. So you think my productivity has really shrunk, no pun intended. So
I think you need to imagine people who probably have a different job than yours. And I'm sorry, but like for example, in these auditors, there's a reason that firms like Ernst & Young and all the other big four accounting firms are paying for that inferior USB monitor solution because they're dealing with gigantic spreadsheets. And so every ounce of screen real estate means that they have to do less scrolling and less clicking around. And even for me as an MBA, and that's why my classmates are interested, I'm working on large spreadsheets myself and PowerPoints. So that's part of the reason why I initially developed it. So I think it's dependent on the type of work you're doing. I think no matter who you are, you can find a way. Maybe for your particular, it won't be 50%, but for a lot of people it is.
So you honestly believe instead of buying a large 15, 17-inch MacBook Air, that the E&Y person's going to buy one of these?
Well, those don't exist because those would be very onerous. It would weigh significantly more than this product.
And we're referencing studies done at the University of Utah. They did one in 2004, one in I think 2008, where they talk about the difference. And they actually compared, that stat that we got actually came from comparing an 18-inch screen to a 24-inch screen. So that's where they measured that 50% increase. And you're right, it does depend on what they're actually doing. So it's not going to matter if you're just sending emails, right? But if you have those large spreadsheets, if you're doing some sort of complex editing task, that's when you really start to see these
Well, even
benefits.
email, like no matter what I do, I'm referencing something in an email, for example. So I think that it's inherent that, for most people that are doing productive work, you're inherently at least comparing something, if not comparing something complex.
Okay, over to Bob.
So, quick question. How many mobile professionals do you think are active players on Kickstarter?
So it's a small percentage. They're not the early adopters, and we're not saying Ernst & Young
Okay.
is going to be the early
Okay,
adopters.
So the Kickstarter people have nothing to do with your initial target
Yeah,
market.
there's some small segment, maybe 5%.
All right, so tell me a little bit about, I've got two questions. Start with, tell me a little bit about what exactly is your IP?
You want to go with me? Okay. It's behind the mechanics. So this is the only one-step way to get a screen to pop out. And the way we're doing that
It's about
is-
the mechanics, not about the optics.
No, not right now.
Okay, and so what is it that prevents somebody else from doing something that is a, portable screen that has different mechanics? How hard will it be for someone, let's say Samsung, to maybe circumvent your IP?
You'd have to talk to them, but
Well,
it's dependent on
you
the.
tell me how strong you think your IP is and why you
I think it's strong enough that
strong.
they won't be able to do something like this. I think this is the most elegant way to get one step. I think
But if,
if you
roll-
look,
if I have a screen that rolls up,
yeah, you would need a
that
flex.
doesn't violate your IP, does it?
You mean like an OLED screen or what sort?
Well, just something that rolls up that's, does that violate your IP?
No, but it violates
Okay.
it violates somebody else's IP that
All
was,
right,
that was filed
so
in
if I
2004.
license it from that somebody else, your solution may or may not be entirely defensible.
Yeah, but it's
Mean-
onerous because if you roll a screen, it's not user friendly at all.
Okay,
And
you
it
have
takes
cu-
up
and
it
you
takes
have-
up whatever the
and-
roll
And
is,
you
right?
have customer discovery interviews that tell you that a roll-up screen is not as user-friendly as a pop-up screen.
Well, think about it. If a roll-up screen, let's say we.
No, the question was customer discovery.
Oh yeah. Well, that inhibits the portability. This is part of our value proposition. If you have a roll-up screen, then you're limited by either the width or height of the screen, right? Inherently.
And the question is, how much of a problem is that for mobile professionals?
Well-
The next question I have, because I don't want to run out of time, is can you pull up your balance sheet?
Sure. You want me to answer your last question?
Oh, go ahead and answer it.
Okay. Yeah, so if you look at our customer interviews, the overwhelming high value propositions, the portability. So anything that you do to inhibit how fast somebody can take it out, how long it takes them, how big it is, that's not valuable to customers.
So, if I can do that with something that's 24 inches long, that's not slow.
But how are you going to put
So
it in your
I'm trying to
laptop
understand
bag?
how you sort of fully pick that up in your customer discovery.
Well, it wouldn't fit in their bag. The mobile professional is using a backpack or a laptop bag. So if you have a rolled up screen, it just wouldn't fit in their bag. So it's a non
Okay,
sequitur.
so you've asked the questions about
Yeah.
roll-up? Okay. So on the balance sheet, let's go to, is that the balance sheet? That looks
Balance.
like an income
Oh, you
statement.
want balance sheet?
Yeah. Okay, so
That's our first one.
let's go to the equity line. So I noticed that the investment goes from $1 million to $11 million in the next 12 months. Tell me about that $10 million.
So based on our study of hardware startups, it's not one round of funding that you need. You need a subsequent Series A.
Yeah. So what's the valuation for that $10 million, and what's the structure of the offering?
Well, that's going to be raised in 2017. So
Right. And so I'm asking you to tell me what you think the valuation on that would be and what the nature of the offering would be 12 months out.
I hope it would be at least 40 million, but I can't tell you right now.
Okay, and what's the, and how many units will you have had in the market by 2017?
Oh, let's go to our pro formas. So that's over 100,000 or 40,000 units.
So you think you're going to have 40,000 units in the market by then.
Right.
And that's going to give you a $40 million valuation. What are the comps that give you the idea that 40 million is the right valuation?
And so if you look at exits in the hardware marketplace,
But that's not an exit, that's a fundraising. If I'm an investor, I expect to get 10 times the money or better. So tell me how you get to the $40 million valuation.
so it's going to be predicated on the comps at that time. So this is all speculative, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So
it's highly speculative.
Can I ask one last question? Why are you guys trying to fund completely through Kickstarter?
oh, we are. That's
That's step one, yeah.
If I were you, I would absolutely take a shot that there's enough early adopters to fund it.
Yeah, that's our strategy is, business plan competitions like this and pre-sales, and then that's why we're not raising or looking to raise until past April.
35 seconds. Quick question.
Finish up the comp for the 40 million is?
In 2017, it's highly speculative.
Okay, but is there a comp that gives you some idea of a consumer electronics product that in its first year had
Yeah,
that
the
kind of
average
valuation?
comp is like 15 to 20 on
Give
revenue.
me the one example.
Let's see. We can do what Fitbit's currently valued at, for example.
The Fitbit currently is very different than what it was valued at 12 months into its life. I don't think it was $40 million in the A round.